This is the Globebus, second van in our fleet. I'll talk you through the outside and then we'll go inside and talk you through all that as well. So on the driver's side, starting the first door, we've got our gas bottle locker. All you need to do to get into the gas is use the key, including your set of keys. To turn the gas on, it's just this black turnstile here. So you're turning it anti-clockwise to turn it on and clockwise to turn it off. I would recommend just having it in the off position when travelling, and then when you're situated inside, just keep it off, and then that way your gas burners and fridge can use the gas at its leisure. Next here is where you would hook up the van. So you've got a hookup cable in the garage here. Hook it up van first, then the mains, and then when you're unhooking, take it out the mains and then out the van, so you're not carrying a live cable. And just make sure you give these a good thump closed, because they need a good slap, otherwise they'll be giving it that in the wind. Next one is the fresh water tank. So there's another key on your set. Turn that, open it up, chuck the hose in, which you've got a hose extension, but if you're on a campsite they'll have a hose. And when your feet are wet, the tank's full. Again, just give it a good hit. Same key that opens the gas locker will open the garage. Just turn the locks and then turn these things here. As you can see, we're in the garage there. Most of the stuff will be left in here, hose, cut cable, etc. And in case you forget, just turn them and that's it. Well, bike rack there if you need to use, fairly straightforward, just bring it down, secure the wheels of the bike and the base. If you're taking bikes, just let us know, we'll talk you through it in more detail. Other side of the garage, exactly the same. When you open up this hatch, which is used, opened by the same key as everything else so far. We've got the battery system you don't need to worry about, it's more the toilet cassette that I'll show you. And it's straightforward, just lift this latch up, pull the cassette out. There's a wee kind of suitcase element going on there. Walk merrily to the emptying point in your campsite, and all you're doing to empty your wastewater, so your waste cassette, is just turning this, taking this cap off and just giving it a good old shake. It's important you do this in a designated area in a campsite or down a bathroom if you're desperate. Just make sure when it's going back in it clicks in place. If you're struggling to get it out, it might be that the switch inside on the toilet isn't actually closed properly. We'll show you that when we get inside. Another thing to note here as well is when you've got the boiler on, hot water heating or the heating itself, this is just the exhaust fume for that, and as a safety measure they've put a item on here that notifies the boiler if this window's open. So essentially this window needs to be closed if you're running the heating or the hot water. And then finally on this side, you've got to open the door to get in. You've got your diesel cap and you've got your AdBlue as well. Your van should be full of AdBlue. If you do need it, just buy some, keep the receipt. As you come in the van on your left hand side, on this panel here you've got the controls for the heating, and you've got the main controls for the power and battery levels and freshwater tank and wastewater tank levels. You just press this button. That's all the power and the van is on, so USBs are now live, all the light switches are live. If you're hooked up to the mains electricity, there'll be an icon that flashes up here just assuring you that you're actually getting mains electricity. And when you have mains electric, that's when you can then start running the heating off electric, your fridge off electric, and all the 3-prong plug points are then live. So this is the only button that actually turns things on and off, turns the water pump on, everything. The rest are just levels. So on this side, I've got the fresh water tank. So if I press that, press and hold it, and it'll show me how much I've got in my fresh water tank. And it's the same for the wastewater tank. Now nothing's coming up here because there's nothing in the tank. And then we've got the battery levels. So we've got the vehicle battery, and we've got the leisure battery. And the leisure battery is the battery that's controlling the lights, everything on this side of the cabin. And then as you're leaving the van, you would just turn the power off, just press the button, and everything goes off. These lights will stay on, so you just need to turn them off here. This here is the control for the heating and hot water boiler. All you need to do is just click the main button, takes you to the home screen. Depending on what van you're in, you can either run this off gas, diesel or electric. If you're hooked up at a campsite, I would recommend just using the mains electricity rather than wasting fuel working it on that. first thing I would do is go to this third icon in, click on it. Depending on what you want to use, if we're hooked up, we would use EL2. If we were using the diesel function, we'd hit fuel, and if we were using gas, we would use the gas option. The other options just ignore, so it's either electric, fuel or gas. So let's say we're going to hit fuel. So clicked on that. Anything I now put on will then run off diesel in this instance. So go back to the first icon, click the van, pick a temperature, let's say 20 degrees. Go into the second icon, that's the hot water. So we've got eco, which is 40 degrees, hot, which is 60 degrees. And there's a boost function as well if you need it to heat up quicker. Whatever one you prefer, just click on it. Now what will happen now that I've got the heating and the hot water on, the icons that are flashing up the top, it's flashing because the hot water's not at 40 degrees yet. So you can check this control panel. Once that stops flashing, you can then be assured that the water's at 40 degrees and you're not going to get a cold shower. And it's really important that you turn this heating off before you disconnect or start the engine, because the boiler doesn't like being interrupted. So before you unhook or start the engine, press and hold this button down and just make sure the heat is off. The tap in the bathroom doubles up as the sink tap and the shower, and what you do is, as is, it's working as a function of sink. When you're going for a shower, just unsecure the little button here, pull this panel out. You've got this slidey door here, and then this up there, and that's as a shower. Fridge freezer will run off 12 volt power if you're not hooked up, and then if you are hooked up it will run off the mains, and it'll switch between the two itself, so don't worry about that, just make sure it's on. You're pressing and holding this button to turn it on. Pick a strength, and then if it's too loud at night, there's a night mode. So you would just press and hold the crescent moon, and when that goes blue, what happens is the fridge just goes a bit quieter and works a bit slower, and it doesn't keep you up all night. When you're at your campsite, to make it more homely, you can swivel the front two seats. There's a lever at the front of the chair which we'll show you at the handover. But just to show you the demonstration, pull the lever, turn the chair how you like. This one also swivels. Put the armrest down. The only thing I will say is that this needs to be in the forward facing position when you're driving. Obviously this one will need to be, and to do that you just turn it round and just make sure you hear the click, and that's it in place. On every window and skylight there's a fly screen and a privacy blind. On these ones on the side it's just simply pull this down. The ones in the cabin area are a wee bit more footery, so just point that out. It's just these wee buttons here, pinch and then gently bring this across, and they just seal magnetically. And to bring them back in, just make sure they're folded perfectly. Important to be gentle with these because they do play up a wee bit. Into the wastewater tank, there's a tool inside. We'll keep it in the cutlery drawer for you. Grab that, come out to the side of the passenger. Underneath the toilet cassette, you'll see there's a hose where the wastewater is emptied. Let's empty it and open it. This bit here. Pop the tool on, turn it. And to stop the flow, turn it back. Make sure you do this at a designated area in a campsite or over a drain. One last thing about this van is it's a Ford. The handbrake might be a bit unfamiliar to you. It gets a lot of people off guard. What you're doing is you're lifting it up, the button, clicking it, and then bringing it down. That's the handbrake off. And to put it back on, pull it up, and then what happens is it just rests in that position. So it looks like it's off, but it's actually on. And you can tell it's on because you've got the icon in there with the wee red exclamation mark assuring you that it's on. Before heading off, just make sure you go round the van, checking everything's secured. For example, put the step in, make sure all the locks, doors, all these flaps are secure. Skylights inside are closed, and make sure that the hookup cable is actually unhooked and in the van. And then that's you, and you're ready to go.